place, girl. Never in a haste, girl. Your vibe is like a gentle breeze. You make me feel all kinds of things. The things I like about you most are way beyond what eyes can see. I must be honest though, I really like it when you love me slow. Love me slow. I love it when you look in my eyes and take it all. Introduce you to some different style, like get it all. Give up everything, take my heart, but in return never promise we never give it up. But in yo, fling it back my love when you make up your face. You're passionate, messy, so you're not hesitate. Know you're kinda shy, but still let up on anything. Standing at attention to the tempo where you sing, oh yeah. Your vibe is like a gentle breeze. You make me feel all kinds of things. The things I like about you most are way beyond what eyes can see. I must be honest though, I really like it when you love me slow. Love me slow. Don't stop. Warmer than a fire, your pulsating, wanna stay inside. Chica, me vuelves loco, estoy enamorado. Cada vez, be my only queen, you can trust it. I wouldn't tell you lies. I ain't got that time. No, no, no. Your vibe is like a gentle breeze. You make me feel all kinds of things. The things I like about you most are way beyond what eyes can see. I must be honest though, I really like it when you love me slow. Love me slow.
are the government agency mandated to create an enabling environment for investment in SEZs in Jamaica. We regulate, supervise, and provide policy direction on SEZs, attract investments, and facilitate business, all in an effort to grow Jamaica's economy and ensure that investors get the most from their investments. Contact us to learn more about our work. We are the government.
World, change is constant, but with change comes opportunities. That's why since 2010, the DBJ has been helping to build Jamaica, injecting $361.1 billion into the local economy. We have also empowered small businesses by facilitating 129,000 loans to MSMEs totaling $64 billion and provided $1.3 billion in grant support to over 4,000 businesses. Through initiatives like the Credit Enhancement Facility, we have provided $13.6 billion in collateral support to over 2,200 businesses. Build your business today. Visit us at dbankjm.com to learn more. DBJ, the business builder.
Farming is in our DNA, so we know the value of all you do. Whether you're an experienced farmer, the farmer just starting out, or the farmer looking to shake things up, we are here to support you at every step, providing high-quality feeds, chicks, farm supplies, and technical support whenever you need. From chickens to livestock to crops, choose Hi-Pro. Let's get it done together.
You know Jamaica? Let's talk about Jamaica. Let's talk business. Let's talk opportunity, manpower, and stability. Let's talk infrastructure and location. Let's talk about manufacturing, agriculture, energy, logistics, business process outsourcing, and tourism. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk vision and growth. Let's talk success. Now you know Jamaica. Enough talk. Let's do business. Do business Jamaica. You know Jamaica.
My name is Michael Leachin. I am the chairman of the National Commercial Bank Financial Group of Jamaica. Well, my most recent investment project is agriculture. Huge opportunity for farmers, Jamaica investors, but also investors, period. There are many things you have to do before you can say, yes, I really want to be a farmer/investor in Jamaica. You need to get through all the regulatory hurdles. JAMPRO, their business is to hold the investor's hand and say, come, let me take you. So why is Jamaica the perfect place to be invested right now? Jamaica has great location. You can make great margins. You're protected by legal framework. The macroeconomic situation is outstanding today. Interest rates are low. Liquidity is there. That is what will be the catalyst for foreign investors to be confident also.
Food flavor, full of vibes.
Good morning, everyone. We thank you so much for your patience. A sunshiny morning from the Pearl of the Caribbean, Jamaica, land we love. I just love how we're fans of this country. Can you get another woo? You know, they have a social media saying that says, can you imagine not being a Jamaican? But we have some Jamaicans that we've adopted inside here, because once you get into the island, you're now a Jamaican. You're leaving here officially a Jamaican. So if you're born a non-Jamaican, feel no way about it. You are now a Jamaican. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you all to this day 2 of the Agri-Business Investment Forum, Sustainable Agribusiness, Global Reach, Local Impact. We had a wonderful day yesterday and nights of good food and musical festivities at our soiree. Anybody was at the soiree last night? We had a good time. Today is poised to be as impactful. A very special welcome if you're just joining us for the first time at this conference, or if it is your first visit to Jamaica. Do we have anybody here for the very first time? One person there in the back. Well, I do hope that you get a chance to touch, taste, feel, and take a little piece of Jamaica with you back home. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin this day, we ask that we all stand for the playing of our national purr, we call it, or national anthem. It will be sung by the multi-talented international singer, Mr. Steve Higgins.
Eternal Father, bless our land. Guard us with thy mighty hand. Keep us free from evil powers. Be our light through countless hours. To our leaders, great defender, grant a true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Teach us true respect for all. Stir response to duty's call. Strengthen us, the weak to cherish. Give us vision, lest we perish. Knowledge send us, Heavenly Father, grant a true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be ours forever. Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love.
And we say thank you so much to Mr. Steve Higgins for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. I know, as I said it yesterday, we don't normally clap after the national anthem, but when you see our Minister Albin Hill turning his head to the, where are you? The left, and looking at Steve and being like, oh my gosh. Round of applause. Can we all give Mr. Higgins a round of applause, please? Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to specially acknowledge our Honorable Minister, the Honorable Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Senator, the Honorable Albin Hill, Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Our members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, Mrs. Sansia Bennett Templer, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Mr. Vivian Scully, CEO of the Jamaica Agro-Investment Corporation. Mrs. Tricia Williams Singh, or Deputy Chair of the Jamaica Agro-Investment Corporation. We have with us this morning as well Ms. Alexandra P. Davis, Commissioner of the Broward County, Florida, USA, and representative of Florida International Trade and Cultural Regional Partnerships. Again, joining us today, we have Mr. Orville Hill, General Manager, Finance, Procurement and Standards at the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, and the team at JSIF. Good morning. You can clap them. Yes, they're a hardworking team. Mrs. Kilara Soot, Agricultural Specialist at the World Bank. We have with us Dr. David Lowe, Managing Director at the Jamaica Development Bank. Ms. Shalette Cox, our President at JAMPRO. Ms. Kelly Dawn Hamilton, CEO of the Jamaica Special Economic Zone Agency. Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director at the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Other heads of agencies. Mr. Dave Fearman, Vice President of the Best Dressed Chicken Jamaica Broilers Group. Other corporate partners, special guests, or media. We are streaming online, and I do believe that we have an outside broadcast coming to us through Nationwide. And so we say, ladies and gentlemen, everyone here, lovers of agriculture and Jamaica, good morning. We don't sound like we love Jamaica and agriculture. Let's do it again. Lovers of agriculture and Jamaica, good morning. That sounds a lot better. My name is Debbie Bissoon. I have the honor of being your host for this, or day two, or final day of what has been a truly fulfilling first staging of the Jamaica Agri-Business Investment Forum. And I do believe the team here deserves a big, rousing round of applause for what they have done in the first year. Yesterday, we heard from our speakers. We had 2 robust panel discussions. We had a number of information sessions covering a vast range of opportunities available right here in Jamaica in our agricultural sector. And today, we are going to be having an even better day. And to set the day for us, at this time, we invite to the stage our CEO of the Agro-Investment Corporation, Mr. Vivian Scully. Please make him welcome.
Thank you, Debbie, for that introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With all protocols observed, it is my privilege to welcome you to the final day of 2 jam-packed days of the Jamaica Agribusiness Investment Forum. So, over the past 2 days, we have seen strong ideas, several practical solutions, and a renewed sense of what agriculture will mean for Jamaica's economy and for global markets. This morning, I especially want to acknowledge our Minister, the Honorable Floyd Green, the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, His consistent support for this conference has helped us bring together the right mix of partners, investors, and farmers. Minister, your belief in the role of agriculture as a driver of growth and your leadership of the ministry has been central to what we're building here. I also want to welcome Senator, the Honorable Aubin Hill, the Minister of Industry, Investments, and Commerce, who continues to be a tireless advocate for exports, for investment, and our MSMEs in agribusiness. His voice has been critical in ensuring that agriculture is not just seen as primary production, but as a platform for value-added exports and global competitiveness. And he's been on the road tirelessly making that case across several countries with several agencies and with several exporters. Now, one of the most important outcomes of this forum is the launch of the Agro-Invest Deal Book. It's a practical guide to the opportunities available right now in our sector. It's not just a brochure, it's a pipeline of projects, investments around infrastructure, production, and agro-processing. These opportunities can change the face of agriculture. It will attract capital and create wealth for Jamaicans. We also heard from speakers and panelists sharing insights on projects and their successful marketing strategies. As we move into today's sessions, the focus will be on taking conversations we've had and translating them into commitments. Commitments that will strengthen our investment flow, expand our access into global markets, and deliver real results on the ground for our farmers, our agro-processors, and for our exporters. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being here, and let's make today not just the closing of the conference, but the start of the next phase of building Jamaica's agricultural future. Thank you.
And we say big thanks to Mr. Vivian Scully, our CEO of the Agri-Investment Corporation. Thank you so much, sir, for your welcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we invite to the stage our newly reappointed minister, Senator, the Honorable Aubin Hill, our Minister of Industry, Investment, and Commerce.
You know, well, let me start off where they say I must start off. The Honorable Floyd Green, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, good to be back with you in Cabinet. Minister Green, congratulations on your very, very worthwhile win in arguably the best parish in the country, in Southwest St. Elizabeth. Them send all kind of people to come look after you down there, and boy, you just bust them up and come right back. Give them a round of applause, please. And a round of applause, because Minister Green is one of those ministers which he has a very clear mandate from the Prime Minister to be part of the growth enterprise of this country going forward. So, Floyd, I'm very happy that you're here, and I look forward to working with you. Members of the Diplomatic Corps, good to see you all here, and we will be visiting you, Shalette Cox and myself, Shalette, who runs JAMPRO, and you heard her yesterday, will be visiting you at some time in the near future. His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Richard Vernon, the Mayor of Montego Bay, Mr. Vivian Scully, Chief Executive Officer of Jamaica Agri-Invest Corporation. Vivian, thank you for putting this together. I see another very important player in this game, Dr. David Lowe, who is the head of DBJ. You're going to be twinned with Vivian, that's in the agriculture, and naturally, you're going to be twinned with us in the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. So you'll be twinning all over the place. Miss Alexandra Davis. She is visiting us as the Commissioner of Broward County, Florida, and representative of the Florida International Trade and Cultural Regional Partnerships. Broward is very, very close to Jamaica. Lots of Jamaicans live in Broward. We're happy to have you here, Ms. Davis, and we're very pleased that you're sharing and looking to partner with us. Welcome to Jamaica again. Yes, give her a round of applause, please. Diaspora leaders and partners, wherever you're coming from, we're happy to have you. Business leaders and other members of the private sector, sponsors of this forum, media practitioners, I understand Nationwide is here with us, and we're happy to have them. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Just this last month, Jamaica held its 19th general election. I recognize that this is an investment forum, but there are many reasons why you must invest in Jamaica. We had our 19th general election last month. It was observed by the Organization of American States, Electoral Observation Mission, and others from the society and elsewhere in the Caribbean. Their preliminary report commended the Jamaican people for civic maturity and the calm, orderly conduct of voting in our last election. They praised our electoral officials, polling staff and security forces for their professionalism and highlighted the efficient tallying of swift announcement results. No next day business, no chads, no nothing. We vote, you put your hand in the ink, we count the vote, and by, I understand maybe by 8:30, one radio station was calling it. That is efficiency and good. And then, mostly by 10 o'clock, whoever loses concedes and whoever wins says thank you very much. So, the Jamaica Labour Party, of which Minister Green and I are members, won. And we thank the Jamaican people for saying to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, we like how you've run this country in the past number of years, 10 years, we're going to give you a third term. We don't take that lightly. We give you thanks. And because we're Jamaicans, Eternal Father, bless our land. We give thanks to God as well for having a good election that went cleanly and went well. Why am I talking to you about that? Because the EOJ not only did a good job, but this is the kind of working democracy that makes investors comfortable and the type of democratic maturity they want to see. Jamaica is a country where democracy is mature. Yes, we're young in terms of 60-something years, 63 years, 64 years. Jamaica is a country where democracy is mature. Institutions are trusted. Our electoral commission is very well respected. People come from across the world, not just to see our athletes and our music, but to look at how we run elections in this country. I am very proud that that is an investment invitation to people who want to invest in this country. So the institutions are trusted, transitions are orderly and timely, and political stability is guaranteed. That is exactly what investors witnessed when Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness was sworn in for the third term and was already at work the very next morning. Everything about Jamaica's democracy gives confidence and comfort to local and foreign investors, and our democratic traditions and practices that have become a model to countries in the region and around the world. Yes, they do come to look at us and see how we've done it, how we did it quite badly in the 80s, changed it, and now we're a model for people to come and see. So not only our democracy is solid, it's robust, it's rocking, of course, and our athletes, who we all know are punching above our weight in Tokyo. We have number 1 and 2 in the men, and number 2, a 19-year-old in the women's 100. We are punching above our weight, but I want to tell you something else. Our strong economy, which is why you're here. But I want you to understand there are other things around which you should be here for. You can take back to your countries where you go and see, look at how Jamaicans run their democracy. But our economy, our strong economy, political stability, strategic location, and ever-improving infrastructure. If you came here 3 years ago and didn't come back until just now, you'd never recognize the infrastructure that we put in around the island, and it's just getting better every day. It makes a very strong case for investing in Jamaica and investing in agriculture in Jamaica, and I'm going to tell you why. For the past 10 years, 8 or 9 of those years, no new taxes, all those budgets, no new taxes. I challenge you to find a non-oil country around the world where you can say that we don't have oil, we have a small country, and we have not raised taxes in 10 years. Jamaica, like our athletes, stand tall. We have historic low unemployment. When the Prime Minister came to take over the government in 2016, unemployment was around 14%. If anybody at that time, when I joined the Prime Minister, I was then a senior advisor to the Minister of Finance, Mr. Audley Shaw. If somebody had asked me at that time, where do you think unemployment will be in 2025? I would have kind of sheepishly said 7% and changed the subject. Because if I had said 3.3%, they'd say, what on earth, the Prime Minister lose his head? When am I put this man to work in government for? What do you mean by 3.3%? Well, look at us now. 3.3% is where we are. That's amazing when you think about that. We don't have oil. We don't have any gold. But we manage an economy well. Boy, I have had the privilege of serving with a Prime Minister in a cabinet that's arguably the best this country has ever had. And I'm just happy to have been able to be there to work. And I'm very happy that him choose me again to continue the little job. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. So, when we look at all that, the Jamaican dollar is stable. No currency restrictions. And I put it to you, it's one of the best things that we have competing in the Caribbean. You don't have to go to a ministry or the Bank of Jamaica to get approval to transfer your money in, but better yet, to transfer your money out. Good money in, good money out, no problems. And if the money is not good, we have very powerful friends who will tell us that it's not good, so you can't bring it in. So, the freedom of the currency to be easily transferable. You look around the entire region. I'm not talking just about the Caribbean. Look across the region and you see how many countries can say that and make it actually work. When we were going to make the Bank of Jamaica independent, they said, oh my heavens, the currency is going to go. I said, no, this currency is not going to hell. What is going to happen? We're going to manage inflation, and we, the Andrew Holness administration, gave our Bank of Jamaica one mandate: look after inflation. The range you must keep it in is 4 to 6%. And the only time it went out was in the pandemic. We kept within that range. We said we as the government will manage the unemployment. And as I said, at 3.3%, look at us now. The Federal Reserve, they have two mandates. One, to look after unemployment, and two, to look after inflation. In Jamaica, we're better than that. You look after inflation, Bank of Jamaica. We look after unemployment. Look at where unemployment is, 3.3%. Look at where inflation is. Inflation is 1.2% at a 57-year low and outside the lower band of the range that we give the central bank to manage. Clap, man. Give them a clap. Give the central bank and the government a clap. Because if inflation was 10, 12%, you hear how the government can manage the economy. So give them a clap. Give the government a clap. One more clap. Our net international reserves is at historic high, 6.1 billion US dollars. Billion US dollars. That means when in about 5 years ago, every month on the radio you hear, oh, we only have so much money to buy so much goods, 6 months of goods we have. Not anymore. You don't hear that question anymore. You don't even ask about if you can get your dollars or your pounds changed. We have the reserve. The reason why the dollar is stable is because we have a strong international reserve. Nobody dares to challenge the central bank because the central bank has the money. If you take a position to short the Jamaican dollars and the Bank of Jamaica decides that you're out of line and playing with the currency, you're going to get hurt because they have the kind of money to go into the market and make sure you get hurt if that's the position you're taking. That's how we manage the economy. It's really very good. Debt to GDP moved from 147% in 2013 to now 62%. 60% or less is where we're going. We thought we'd get there by 2028 because of pandemic. We're going to get there apparently well ahead of that time. Economic growth in the last quarter was 1.1%, coming off of Beryl, where we had a lot of rain. Transshipment advantage is great. We're proximal to the biggest economy in the world and right next to the Panama Canal. This is the place to set up the logistics hub that we're working on. It's going to help agriculture. The Cayman Special Economic Zone is being there to put that together. Harmony Cove in Trelawney. We just put in an investment. As the Minister of Investment, I need to tell you this. The long-term pioneering and project investment, which means that if you bring in $1 billion, you go to the Jamaica Special Economic Zone or the Ministry of Finance and see what the benefits you get. You don't have to know somebody. There's no corruption. You bring in that kind of money, you can invest and you get what you have to do. These are just a few reasons why investors choose and must choose Jamaica, but there are some for agriculture, particularly for agriculture, which the Prime Minister has designated as a major growth sector. Minister Green is going to tell you all about that, but there's just one thing I want to mention, because it affects both of us from where we live. When I was in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, when you're being groomed to be minister, somehow the Prime Minister find a place for you in his ministry. So I had that, and I was handling water, and I was handling land and all those things. And one of the things I did was I worked with 3 French ambassadors ago to say, look, we need a grant to study irrigation in southwest St. Elizabeth, the constituency that Minister Green represents in Jamaica. And we got the French, they brought in the people, the canal consultants, resident in Panama, I think, or Peru, and they brought them here, did this study, look at using solar energy to pump the water from our largest river, Black River, up the Santa Cruz Mountain 3 levels, and will gravity feed it down to water all that section of St. Elizabeth from Treasure Beach right up to Flagaman, Top Hill, and so on. And on the eastern side in Frank Witter's constituency, I also work with the British government and the Caribbean Development Bank. They put in £33 million to help us put in the Essex Valley irrigation. So all of South Jamaica is going to be irrigated. You can put in your covered agriculture. Minister Floyd is going to tell you everything about all the places you can invest and what that means to make the linkages with our hotels work. We have one of the biggest markets here is called our tourism and hotel business, where linkages will come. So when you look at the 210 hotels that we have, maybe 35,000 rooms at the moment, and building a whole bunch more, another $5.4 billion in investment going into hotels. This is the country that you need to be in. We are growing. We make it easy for you to invest. We have people. The Prime Minister's made it sure we're going to move all the obstacles out of the way. If you need technical people that are good, you will get them through the Ministry of Labor and Social Security once you make your case. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, I'm especially happy to have you here. We have 20 agencies, one of them you know, JAMPRO, which you've heard yesterday. We're all here to help you to make sure you can invest well. Orchard crops are big. You must have heard about them yesterday. It's ackee, avocado, breadfruit, mangoes. We have spaces for you to grow them in. And we have policy support from the government to make sure, for instance, the productive input relief, if you're going into agro-processing, you have a factory, you register with the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. We work with the Ministry of Finance to make sure all the machinery and materials you're going to put in your factory can come in duty-free, because we want to make sure you set up your factory here. You know how well that was? It was in 23-24, we gave the benefit of 78.5 billion Jamaican dollars for duty allowance. So you don't have to pay that duty. You put that in your company as your working capital. In 2022-23, it was 88.5 billion. In 21-22, when we had pandemic, we raised it to $109 billion that you don't have to pay duty on. This, to me, man, this is the place to be. Jamaica is a country where democracy works, where the economy and currency are stable, and where agriculture is rising to its rightful place as a driver of national wealth. I invite all investors, both local and international players, to invest in Jamaica's agriculture and agribusiness sector. Join us as we produce to feed much more of our tourists, expand exports, modernize farms, and build property for all Jamaicans. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you to choose Jamaica. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you can understand why he is the reappointed Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Put your hands together again, please, for the Honorable Auburn Hill. Thank you so much, sir. Solidly delivered. Jamaica's democracy continues to serve as the invitation to the world to choose Jamaica. And we're very happy that we've come so far, and the infrastructure that we now have has made way for a number of advancements. We're talking about agro-parks even. We have agro-parks in different parts of Jamaica. We have almost we have 10 already, right? We have 10 agro-parks, and we have the mission of ensuring that every single parish in Jamaica has an agro-park. And we have all of our crops in demand around the world. Yesterday, Dr. David Lowe told us about the vodka. The yam vodka. Minister, I don't know if you've heard about the yam vodka, but we're gonna work it out. We have to see made in Jamaica on that bottle very, very soon. And so much more. Or jerk sauces. Chef Simpson in the house. Jerk sauces, yes. Our Walker's Wood ambassador is here. And he has been championing everything Jamaican in the kitchen with celebrities from all around the world. So we have so much to be grateful for and so much to look forward to. And we're happy that we can do so. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to be inviting to the stage. We had him yesterday, and when he walked inside the room, you only see that kind of attention when you have big celebrities coming through. He could not catch a breath. The cameras were all over him. People were stopping him, asking him for his autograph, and we can understand why. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a leader with a vision to take agriculture to heights that we've never seen before in this country. a transformational leader who is steadfast in championing food security, sustainable farming, and the growth of the agribusiness sector. Put your hands together and let's welcome the Honorable Floyd Green, our Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining.
Thank you very much. Can we have a big round of applause for Debbie Bissoon? Isn't she excellent? She is really, really superb at what she does. I think we have now adopted her as a part of the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining. And if you don't know, she has a wonderful program on TV around agriculture. Anybody knows that? Debbie and her sister, Farm Chicks. So, Debbie, I'm not going to charge you, but you have a lot of investors in here, and you do tell wonderful stories, so we look forward to Farm Chicks continuing. My colleague minister, Senator Honorable Aubin Hill, our business minister, the Minister of Industry, Investment, and Commerce. I'm happy that we're back together. I'm very, very, very happy that we're back together. I'll say a little bit more, but let me go through the list. And please see with me. I know our permanent secretaries are here, Mrs. Sansia Bennett Templer. I know P.S. Spence was here yesterday. He had to go because we are swearing in a state minister today. Miss Alexandra Davis, the commissioner from Broward County. I'm very happy to have you here. Happy to have met you just a while ago. I look forward to talking with you a little later. Mr. Keith Copiel, our partners from ECA, who is here. Of course, we couldn't do this without a board of directors. And we have our deputy chairperson for the Agri-Invest Corporation. If you've been here, I know you've all met her already because that's how she is. Mrs. Trisha Williamson. Can we give the board a big round of applause for making this happen? The entire team from the Agri-Invest Corporation, Mr. Vivian Scully. I want to give Mr. Scully a big, big hand. Not easy to pull out something like this. Dr. David Lowe, I caught some of your presentation yesterday. It is so refreshing to have a managing director of the Development Bank of Jamaica who is an agriculturalist. Yes, so you know what that means. We are expecting all the money to flow into agriculture. Our Consul General is here. What a wonderful suit you have on. Can you stand so people can see how dapperly dressed you are today? Consul General Oliver Bear, if you know him, then you know his work. He is excellent at what he's done. Has served us very, very well in Florida. Mrs. Donna Marie Howe, our Managing Director for the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited, and the Chairman of our JBM Board, Anna Harry. Give them a big round of applause. One of our major partners here working with us. Mrs. Shillette Cox. You know, Minister Hill and I, we don't fight over you. We just see that you are part of both ministries. So Jampro and the entire team from Jampro is here. Also, Miss Kelly Dawn Hamilton, our Jamaica Special Economic Zone, our CEO. Where's Kelly Dawn? Very, very important in terms of what we are doing, Minister Hill and I, in terms of special economic zones for agriculture. And we had some discussions around that yesterday. We have a lot of partners, of course. Best Dressed Jamaica, the Jamaica Broilers Group. Give them a big round of applause. They're here, one of our major partners. Mr. Edmondson from RADA and the team from RADA, happy to have you here. If you don't know, RADA is our extension services. Dr. Bellamy, and I'm calling the names. Where's RADA? Anybody from RADA? Put up your hand. All right, good. Dr. Bellamy, put up your hand so that people know how to find you. Fisheries Authority, I know some people have already been having those discussions. And we do have the CEO of the Stock Exchange, Mr. Morrison. Very, very happy to have you here. I don't know if this is your first official, but again, because agriculture brings out the big guns. And we do have a social stock exchange, and we have been using that to move some agricultural projects. I know members from the tourism team are here. I don't know if Kerry is here today, but I know members. Dr. Wallace. When you say tourism, you say big money. Big round of applause, Good to have you here. Excellent partners. All our other members of the ministry or agencies, our chief technical directors from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining, members of the media, sponsors, exhibitors, investors, students, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everybody. So I had to do that extensive protocol list because it takes a lot to get something like this off the ground for the first time. And I must start by saying how honored I am and humbled I am to be here, to be returned as Member of Parliament for Southwest St. Elizabeth, and then because of that, getting the opportunity by the Prime Minister to again serve as Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, and Mining. You know, when we launched in May of this year, and I spoke at the launch, I said I was so happy to speak at the launch as Minister of Agriculture, but I would be even happier to speak at the event as Minister of Agriculture. Thank God that those prayers have been answered, and we are here today at our first Jamaica Agri-Business Investment Forum. And we're here at a very important time for agriculture in the world, but especially in Jamaica. We have been through a tough year last year. We went through Hurricane Beryl. We went through non-stop rains in November. And normally when you tell that story in relation to agriculture, you tell a sad story. Thankfully, we can tell that story, but tell it as a happy story. Because what we are now seeing is that we are building resilience in our agricultural sector. Clearly, we don't want to have storms like Hurricane Beryl. But we want to ensure that if they do happen, as they ultimately will, that we can build back stronger and we can build back better. And what we have been seeing from our agriculture sector is that resilience being built into the sector. So despite the difficult year last year, despite the fact that we lost about $7 billion in our agricultural enterprise, I can say to you that in January to March of this year, we were already back to growth in agriculture. What used to happen, and we can look at our past experiences after Hurricane Ivan, it took us maybe 2 years, 2.5 years to get back to those production levels. Not only did we get back to growth in the January to March quarter, but in that January to March quarter, we reached our highest levels of production ever recorded in Jamaica in that quarter. And that was 221,000 tons. But we didn't stop there because we surpassed that. And for the first time in our history, in a quarter, we passed 230,000 tons in our April to June quarter. And I think our farmers and our agricultural investors deserve a big round of applause. We grew 13% in that quarter. And thankfully, we are seeing some of the sort of investments that we've longed for in agriculture. In fact, if you look at last year and you look at the profile of the major investments that Jamaica saw, they were agricultural-related investment. I could speak about Caribbean Broilers Group and their $15 billion investment in the nest, bringing in the first air-chilled facility in this region. Or I could speak about the Jamaica Broilers Group, and right before the general election, the Prime Minister and I were cutting a ribbon with Jamaica Broilers for $8 million US investment in LNG to ensure that what they do more efficiently. I think we are truly now on the cusp of really recognizing and realizing the true potential of our agricultural sector. But the only way that can happen is if the government takes a targeted approach to catalyze those investments, and that is why we are here. The Jamaica Agribusiness Investment Forum was conceptualized to give an opportunity to marry capital with opportunity in agriculture. And when I sat with JSIF, and I want us to give JSIF a big, big round of applause, because the majority of the funding for this has come through JSIF and a project with the World Bank and our international partners. And when I came back to the Ministry of Agriculture and I sat with Brian, is Brian here? Brian, let's stand up and take some praise. I know you like to stay in the background. It's Brian Smith here. Don't see him yet. When I sat with Jason when I came back to the ministry, and we said, what can we do for agriculture under our Ready 2 project? I said, we do need a forum that outlines the opportunities in an easy-to-reach way, that targets investors from near and far and say to them, there are real opportunities and potential for you to maximize your profits, for you to see real returns on those investments in agriculture. And as such, this was born. And it took us some time to bring it to life, but we are here today. And based on my conversations with everybody who I interacted with yesterday, it does appear we are off to a wonderful start. And for us, this is about changing the mindset around agriculture, changing how we approach agriculture and fisheries. Because I think we all know for far too long, we've spoken of agriculture and fisheries like it's a fall back on profession. Like you can't do anything, so we're going to do some agriculture. No. Some of our biggest companies are agricultural-based companies. Some of the biggest companies in the world are agriculture and fisheries-based companies. So we are changing that conversation. And we started changing that conversation under our new phase of food strategy, which focuses on food security, agribusiness development, climate-smart technology, and export expansion. And you will see how all of that ties into what we're doing here today and what we did yesterday. So, yesterday we would have launched our deal book. And again, clap the Agri-Invest Corporation. It was one of the set targets for this forum that people who come to this event would be able to leave with a practical guide that shows you structured investment-ready opportunities across crops, livestock, fisheries, agro-processes. Tells you a little bit about what you will take to invest, what would the returns on those investments look like, where are the opportunities in terms of land for you to make those investments, and who could do those hand-holding services to marshal you through those investments. And we have outlined a number of great investments, if I do say so myself. Our Southern Plains Agricultural Project with our Southern Plains Agro Park. For those of you who are not familiar, that is closer to Kingston, St. Catherine, Amity Hall. We've already launched the Parnassus Leg, which is in Clarendon. Again, if you traverse the highway, I know for years people have been saying, boy, when we drive down the highway coming out of Kingston, there's just so much land and nothing is happening with it. That's true. But what it would take to make something happen with it, you would need a government that was willing to invest in that, because it would take access to irrigation. And as you drive down that highway now, you may see a big pond and wonder what is happening there. We have built the largest retention pond that will take water from the Rio Cobre that will service the irrigation needs of that entire Southern Plains Agro Park. And we are now looking for investors in that. Applications are open, and don't sleep on it, because we launched Parnassus earlier this year, Mr. Scully, and Parnassus is now completely gone. 700 acres have been all taken by investors doing great things. I like to tell the stories because I know sometimes as Jamaican, as investors, you want to hear that other people are taking the risk. So Walkerswood has taken about 70 acres of our Parnassus Agro Park, and they need it, and they need more. But you know they want to partner with a number of you. And I was having a wonderful conversation with my friends from Walkerswood yesterday, and I know, sometimes in Jamaica, companies don't like when you share, but as I always tell my agricultural companies, we must share the successes. Because when the rain falls and the hurricanes come, we see those stories. And we cry about them. But we don't think about when somebody says, boy, minister, I lost 50 million. I think, wow, you're going to make 50 million from this area? Walkerswood have been working with Publix. And Publix has introduced a jerk wings to their menu. And it is going like hot bread using Walkerswood jerk seasoning. 7 weeks, 7 million US in sales. These are real examples happening right now. Another wonderful gentleman, his name slips me now, but I'm sure it will come back to me, that I met at the launch of Parnassus, is one of our diaspora investors. Not an agriculturalist. Literally said, he's been following the Ministry of Agriculture. He's been hearing about the potential. He wanted to come back to Jamaica, but he wanted something that he could make real money from. And invested in 90 acres, which is a combination of Scotch bonnet and orchard crops. Ackee, mango, avocado, and was planting out tremendously. It's expected to plant out that entire 90 acres by the end of December. And you know how God is good. As I came in and I was talking to Walkerswood said, boy, I met another investor in Parnassus. And they can supply us with the peppers that we need. Agriculture has tremendous potential now to generate wealth. And we must not be afraid to speak about it. So the deal book will show you some of those opportunities. And I could go through so many. You know we have a specific program around small ruminants and our goats. And remember, as much as I speak about the potential of exports, and I'll say a little bit more about that, remember we have a big market right here. We already import about 70% of what we consume as goat meat. It's actually not, it's mutton, sheep. $1 billion industry in Jamaica. And that's why the government has been catalyzing the investment in our goat sector by doing a small ruminant development program where what we have done is to remove the taxes from bringing in breeds of goat that we want to use to drive the genetic quality of our goats here. And under that program, we've already seen private investors bringing about 800 goats. And the government itself has brought in about 300 goats. And we're not just targeting our meat sector. There's a huge industry for goat milk. And I don't know, some of you never grow a country. I grow in country. And my grandfather believed in goat milk, boy. Him said solve every problem. When I went to his house, I had to. It was non-negotiable. It's either not going to look for him, but once I go look for him, somebody was going outside, milking the goat, scalding it, and giving me goat milk. And if he was alive, he would say, that's why I look so young and fresh. Right? You pay about $400, almost $500 for, let us say, 500 milliliters or liters of cow's milk. Same size, $1,200 for goat milk. Tremendous potential. And I haven't spoken about goat cheese. And you should look at the Outland Herder story and what they've been able to do with goat cheese. So there's a lot of areas for expansion that could segue into dairy and the fact that we used to consume about 30 million up to 40 million liters of cow's milk each year. We're now about 12 million. But the demand is still there because the world has gone back to fresh. There was a time that the world moved away from fresh. But now we recognize that fresh is in. And that is why True Juice, through their True Milk, is pumping millions into dairy expansion. I tell all of these stories because I want you who've come to this conference to leave here either investing more because you're already investing or investing for the first time. And what we guarantee in this conference is that the government is here to support you. This is not a government that talks about agriculture and doesn't do the work. This is a government that is putting the infrastructure that we know is necessary to reduce the cost of your investment so that you can maximize your profitability. So when we do Southern Plains, that is what we're doing. Essex Valley, our largest ever irrigation project, 1,200 hectares of land going to be under irrigation support. We've already done all the pipelines. We've already dug 5 wells. We've already put in some of the facilities for you to do your processing. We expect that Essex Valley will be on stream by the first quarter of 2026. Massive investment. And all of these investments now come. Essex Valley does have the largest agricultural solar energy plant to drive the production of that irrigation water in a sustainable way. But additionally, we have learned from mistakes of the past. So yes, we've been doing agri-parks for a long time, but to be honest, some of the agri-parks that we developed in the past were agri-parks in name. As in there was an area that you identify as an agri-park, but it didn't have the infrastructure to ensure the success of your enterprise. And what the government is saying now, any agri-park that we develop, we're putting in the requisite infrastructure. Water, roads, storage. So Essex Valley comes with one of the biggest storage and processing plants that we've developed in agriculture. 25,000 square feet. Can hold about 22 containers of produce, but also has an area to do pure reproduction, also has an area to do brine preservation, smack in the middle of what Senator Hill says is the best parish in Jamaica. And we're developing this infrastructure not necessarily for the government to operate, but for us to partner with the private sector to drive agricultural enterprise. And the beauty as Minister of Agriculture, and this is why I really wanted to be back, because every time I say the biggest, I can then go to say the biggest. Because every project we do is bigger than the project we did before. So yes, Essex Valley was the biggest, but we are now going on to what will be the biggest investment in agriculture in the Caribbean, the PBCJ Plains Irrigation Scheme, which, to put in perspective, Essex Valley is 1,200 hectares of land. PBCJ Plains will bring on the irrigation cover 4,000 hectares of land in our most productive part of Jamaica, South St. Elizabeth. And thankfully, we've already broken ground for that. We've already started construction of the site office. We're finalizing the final designs. That will take water from the Black River and irrigate all of South. And South St. Elizabeth is already our highest productive zone without access to water. Imagine what will happen when we provide the water for that area. So I'm saying all of this to say that the government is here to facilitate your investment. And that is why we are embarking now in this term on ensuring that every single parish has at least one agri-park. Wherever you are in Jamaica and you want to do agriculture, there should be a space that facilitates that agricultural enterprise. And our newest agri-park that is coming on stream will be in St. Anne, a partnership through the Jamaica Bauxite Mining Limited and the Agri-Invest Corporation, 600 acres. So I'm saying to investors, talk now, because that is going to go fast. Because if you look what is happening in St. Anne, if you appreciate that Drax Hall has now become a hub of activity in St. Anne, if you look at the housing stock that's been developed in St. Anne, if you look at the tourism expansion plans for hotels like Grand Bahia, then you recognize that now is the time to invest in agriculture. Because I say it all the time. No matter how you're big, no matter how much money you make, you have to eat. And somebody is going to provide that food and make that money. So we are really bullish on ensuring that we have those agri-parks established. And I have said in all of those agri-parks, we're going to make special accommodation for youth, for women. So 25% of all of those lands are specially earmarked for youth, earmarked for women to be accessed under special terms. And part of what we're doing for youth in those agri-parks is, again, we're going to cut the rate of lease in half for them for the first 2 years. We're going to give them free land preparation for the first 2 years. We're going to give them free input for the first 2 years so that they can really take those 2 years and set up strong, thriving agricultural enterprise and then embark on their future. So now is the time to invest. And Dr. Bellamy would kill me if I didn't speak about fisheries, because we have been sleeping on investments in our fisheries sector, quite frankly. You may not know, but Jamaica has one of the highest consumption rates of fish in the Caribbean and in the world. We consume 26 kilograms of fish per person each year. The worldwide average is 20 kilograms. Unfortunately, the majority of that which we consume is imported. We can fix that. We've started to see tremendous investment in freshwater fish farming, which we believe has tremendous potential. And if you know anybody who is in tilapia farming, just ask them. They do not have enough to satisfy the market. In fact, the person who got Farmer of the Year at Denby this year is a fish farmer and runs an operation that he opens 365 days a year. Not even Christmas does he close, because he says the demand is so consistent that if he closes one day, the backlog is too much for him. And just to put it in perspective, when I went to visit his farm, I went about 11:30, and Senator Hill, he was nowhere to be found. Him say him don't operate at those times. Him finish sell and go and relax for the rest of the day. So I have to make an appointment if I'm coming at those times. I'm dead serious. Tremendous potential and opportunity in our fisheries sector. And just like every other area, what is the government doing? We are looking to facilitate you. So we're building a new state-of-the-art tilapia hatchery. We used to produce about 1 million fry per year. We're going to move that to 5 million fry per year. So you will always have a source to get what you need to drive your enterprise. But that's just fish. In fact, we've started a pilot project now focusing on marine fish. So, Minister Hill, you might not know, but as it is now, we've started a project in St. Thomas where we're developing cage culture, growing out red snapper in the sea for resale. Again, a huge red snapper market. But remember, that's just one aspect. What about fish feed? Why aren't we seeing more enterprises going into developing the feed, especially utilizing local resources to develop the feed that we need to drive our fishery sector, our livestock sector? Tremendous potential are out there. And you may have heard one of the big projects for this term is that we're taking the same approach to our agri-parks to aquaculture. And as such, we're going to develop our first ever aquaculture agri-park, where you will be able to go in a shared services model to lease ponds to develop your aquaculture enterprise. And again, not just fish. We've developed a shrimp hatchery, a prawn hatchery, if I am to be completely correct. And we've grown out our first cultures, and we are now distributing prawns and selling prawns. Everything I said about fish, think about it on a broader scale. Shrimp, oysters, sea moss. Do you know that Jamaica's sea moss is one of the most sought after in the world? And we now are growing sea moss in parts of St. Anne. We've taught our fishers how to grow, harvest, package, and sell. And it's not just sea moss to utilize in food, but if you don't know, when it comes to your skincare regimes, Jamaican sea moss is the best. I say all of these things again to reiterate the potential that we have. So we are here to pair all of these opportunities with your investment and to assure you that the government is looking to facilitate those investments. As you would have heard Minister Hill mention, we do have a productive input relief regime for agriculture. Almost everything you need to establish your agricultural enterprise, you can bring in without taxation. So your tractors, plows, your agriculture-related drones, talk to us at the Ministry of Agriculture. Let's work together to move your enterprises forward. Additionally, in some of our agri-parks, we now have matching grant schemes. In our Southern Plains Agri-Park, we do have a matching grant scheme where we're putting some money to help our enterprises start. And we're working on a first crop guarantee program, where oftentimes some of our farmers have a difficulty in that first crop that they put out and tend to lose that and then don't have the resources to start again. We're working on a guarantee regime for that. Additionally, Senator Hill and myself and the Minister of Tourism have been tasked to work with our hotel sector to ensure that they engage in long-term contracts for our agricultural products, so that you can take that contract to the bank, get the resources to really invest in your agricultural enterprise. And I'm sure you would have heard from the DBJ about Orbit, the new project that they have brought, that we sat down, looked at some of the issues that persons who operate in the agriculture and fishery space have faced over the years, and try to rework the requirements to make it more accessible. And that's just on the loan side. The DBJ has a whole host of grants. And I know some of my agricultural entrepreneurs will say, boy, it's difficult. Well, we're working on that. But work with the DBJ and the Agri-Invest, because sometimes what appears difficult initially, if you get some hand-holding services, you can make it through. So, we have tremendous potential. I think we are off to a wonderful start with our first ever Jamaica Agri-Business Investment Forum. Do you agree? So I guess it would be fair for me to say that our next Agri-Investment Business Forum will be in 2027. We are going to continue this. Every 2 years, we will have an engagement of this nature that will pair capital with the investment opportunities in agriculture. This is one of the ways we're going to drive and move agriculture and fisheries forward. So thank you for coming out. Again, I'm very happy to be here. We have a lot of work to get done. And I just want the Prime Minister to recognize that Minister Hill and I are ready, and we've hit the ground day one, and we're here. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our newly reappointed Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, the Honorable Floyd Green. A round of applause once more, please. And as a reappointed minister, this was his first presentation. So, we're very, very happy to have you back here, sir. You said it at the launch, you wish to be here, and I'm happy that you were able to be here in this capacity. And not just as an attendee, sir, because I know you would not miss it, but really here as our Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, and a very excellent presentation. And we are excited to hear that we will have another Agri-Business Investment Forum in 2027. Register now. Register now and secure your place. Thank you so much, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to be inviting back to the podium our ministers, the Honorable Albin Hill and the Honorable Floyd Green. We have a very special presentation for both of you, sirs. We're inviting to the stage our CEO, Mr. Vivian Scully, to make the presentation of this, our deal book. And in this comprehensive book, you'll find everything you need to know about our sector, about our in-demand crops or animals or poultry, aquaculture, everything that you need and so much more. And for our attendees here, if you are concerned, I did not get my deal book. Don't worry, this is a digital conference. Turn the back of your badge and you'll see a QR code and you can scan it for your own digital copy of the deal book. And we're seeing some images there of the deal book. Can we have the presentation be played again? There we have the ready to locations. Can we give our love to the JSIF team inside the building again? Please ensure that you scan that QR code on the back of your badge for your own copy of our deal book. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to our coffee break and also to the tour of the exhibition hall by our ministers. So we are going to be having the coffee break. We're going to be pausing in this room for about 15 minutes, allowing as well for our ministers to tour the exhibit hall. Thereafter, we're coming back inside here for our very first panel discussion. And everybody's doing the mass migration, but you're going to miss out. Global reach, local impact collaborations in cultural sector through strategic partnerships in key markets. That's our first panel discussion coming up in 15 minutes. Your coffee break begins now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I was instructed to invite the following key individuals to make their way on to the podium for a photo opportunity. We're inviting back to the stage just before he heads down to the exhibit hall, our Honorable Minister Floyd Green and Senator the Honorable Albin Hill. We're inviting to the stage Commissioner Alexandra P. Davis, Consul General Oliver Meir. We're inviting Dr. Kerry Wallace to the stage. Again, we're inviting our Honorable Ministers to the stage. The Honorable Minister Floyd Green and the Honorable Albin Hill. We're inviting to the stage Consul General Oliver Meir, Dr. Kerry Wallace. We are inviting Mr. Eric Montero. We're inviting Mr. Orville Hill to the stage. Mr. Orville Hill to the stage. Thank you so much, sir. We are inviting Michelle Cox to the stage, please. Jampro Michelle Cox to the stage. Photographers, this is your time. Photographers, this is your time. Smile brightly like you've just had the best plate of ackee and saltfish in your life. Please stand by. Please stand by, please. We have another photo. Ministers, we're inviting you to stand by, please.
Nice to be back to be with you, baby. Good to see you. Good to see you. Always, yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have paused for our coffee break. We're not going to be long for attendees on the inside here. We want to resume momentarily. We have a very important panel discussion coming up. We are going to be looking at global reach, local impact collaborations in the agricultural sector through partnership in key markets. Our ministers will be going to the exhibit hall to tour at this time. We ask that you do allow them to do so with ease. And we ask that attendees remain here for our first panel discussion Have your teas, your coffee, and you're back here in 10 minutes.
The government agency mandated to create an enabling environment for investment in SEZs in Jamaica. We regulate, supervise, and provide policy direction on SEZs, attract investments, and facilitate business, all in an effort to grow Jamaica's economy and ensure that investors get the most from their investments. Contact us to learn more about our work. We are the government.
Change is constant, but with change comes opportunities. That's why since 2010, the DBJ has been helping to build Jamaica, injecting $361.1 billion into the local economy. We have also empowered small businesses by facilitating 129,000 loans to MSMEs totaling $64 billion and provided $1.3 billion in grant support to over 4,000 businesses. Through initiatives like the Credit Enhancement Facility, we have provided $13.6 billion in collateral support to over 2,200 businesses. Build your business today. Visit us at dbankjm.com to learn more. DBJ, the business builder.
At Hypro, farming is in our DNA, so we know the value of all you do. Whether you're an experienced farmer, the farmer just starting out, or the farmer looking to shake things up, we are here to support you at every step, providing high-quality feeds, chicks, farm supplies, and technical support whenever you need. From chickens to livestock to crops, choose Hypro. Let's get it done together.
You know Jamaica? Let's talk about Jamaica. Let's talk business. Let's talk opportunity, manpower, and stability. Let's talk infrastructure and location. Let's talk about manufacturing, agriculture, energy, logistics, business process outsourcing, and tourism. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk vision and growth. Let's talk success. Now you know Jamaica. Enough talk. Let's do business. Do business Jamaica. You know Jamaica.
My name is Michael Leachem. I am the chairman of the National Commercial Bank Financial Group of Jamaica. Well, my most recent investment project is agriculture. Huge opportunity for farmers, Jamaica investors, but also investors, period. There are many things you have to do before you can say, yes, I really want to be a farmer/investor in Jamaica. You need to get through all the regulatory hurdles. JAMPRO, their business is to hold the investor's hand and say, come, let me take you. So why is Jamaica the perfect place to be invested right now? Jamaica has great location. You can make great margins. You're protected by legal framework. The macroeconomic situation is outstanding today. Interest rates are low. Liquidity is there. That is what will be the catalyst for foreign investors to be confident also.
Food flavor, full of vibes. From your taste of food, yes, you come alive. Yeah, make it food nice every time. Full of flavor in every bite. From start to finish, decide. Walker's food in each and every dish. Hey, you know it's made in Jamaica. You know it's authentic. Hey, good vibes it bring. Walker's food flavor, full of vibes. Try Walker's Wood's range of products today. Yeah, man. Walker's Wood.
government agency mandated to create an enabling environment for investment in SEZs in Jamaica. We regulate, supervise, and provide policy direction on SEZs, attract investments, and facilitate business, all in an effort to grow Jamaica's economy and ensure that investors get the most from their investments. Contact us to learn more about our work. We are the government.
Change is constant, but with change comes opportunities. That's why since 2010, the DBJ has been helping to build Jamaica, injecting $361.1 billion into the local economy. We have also empowered small businesses by facilitating 129,000 loans to MSMEs totaling $64 billion and provided $1.3 billion in grant support to over 4,000 businesses. Through initiatives like the Credit Enhancement Facility, we have provided $13.6 billion in collateral support to over 2,200 businesses. Build your business today. Visit us at dbankjm.com to learn more. DBJ, the business builder.
Farming is in our DNA, so we know the value of all you do. Whether you're an experienced farmer, the farmer just starting out, or the farmer looking to shake things up, we are here to support you at every step, providing high-quality feeds, chicks, farm supplies, and technical support whenever you need. From chickens to livestock to crops, choose Hypro. Let's get it done together.
You know Jamaica? Let's talk about Jamaica. Let's talk business. Let's talk opportunity, manpower, and stability. Let's talk infrastructure and location. Let's talk about manufacturing, agriculture, energy, logistics, business process outsourcing, and tourism. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk vision and growth. Let's talk success. Now you know Jamaica. Enough talk. Let's do business. Do business Jamaica. You know Jamaica.
My name is Michael Leachin. I am the chairman of the National Commercial Bank Financial Group of Jamaica. Well, my most recent investment project is agriculture. Huge opportunity for farmers, Jamaica investors, but also investors period. There are many things you have to do before you can say yes. I really want to be a farmer slash investor in Jamaica. You need to get through all the regulatory hurdles. Jampa, their business is to hold the investors' hand and say, come, let me take you. So why is Jamaica the perfect place to be invested right now? Jamaica has great location. You can make great margins. You're protected by legal framework. And the macroeconomic situation is outstanding today. Interest rates are low. Liquidity is there. That is what will be the catalyst for foreign investors to be confident also.
Food flavor, full of vibes. From your taste of food, yes, you come alive. Yeah, make it food nice every time. Full of flavor in every bite. From start to finish, it's a hit. Walker food in each and every dish. Hey, you know it's made in Jamaica, you know it's authentic. Hey, good vibes it bring. Walker's Wood flavor, full of vibes. Try Walker's Wood's range of products today. Yeah, man. Walker's Wood.
Ladies and gentlemen, quick announcement that we are gearing up to resume. And so we're asking you, for the persons who are on the outside, to take your coffee with you on the inside, please, as we get ready to resume with our first panel discussion for this morning. So if you are hearing me on the outside, please, I know we are deep in conversations, and so we can take the conversation on the inside.
To grow Jamaica's economy
and our panelists, we are inviting our moderator, Consul General Oliver Mayer, to stand by, Commissioner Alexandra P. Davis, Mrs. Karima Munsi, Mr. Sean B. Garbett, Mr. Eric Montero, and Mr. Stephen Jones, our panelists, to stand by, please. But if you are in fact hearing the sound of my voice and you're on the outside, we're asking you kindly to make your way on inside, please, so we can get ready to resume our morning. Everybody inside here is okay? Got something? Got tea, got juice? Yeah? Okay, good. We're asking our volunteers to usher the persons on the outside back inside, please. We are getting ready to resume. We'd like to resume in less than 3 minutes. We have a packed day, so we're asking the persons on the outside, come on inside, please. You do not want to miss this discussion at all.
In a dynamic world, change is constant, but with change comes opportunities. That's why since 2010, the DBJ has been helping to build Jamaica, injecting $361.1 billion into the local economy. We have also empowered small businesses by facilitating 129,000 loans to MSMEs totaling $64 billion and provided $1.3 billion in grant support to over 4,000 businesses. Through initiatives like
the first 20 persons back on the inside, I have something very special for you.
200 businesses. Build your business today. Visit us at dbankjm.com to learn more. DBJ.
The first 20 persons to come on inside, I have something extra special for you. You do not want to miss it.
agriculture, energy, logistics, business process outsourcing, and tourism. Let's talk about your business. Let's talk vision and growth. Let's talk success. Now you know Jamaica. Enough talk. Let's do business. Do business Jamaica. You know Jamaica.
My name is Michael Lucien. I am the chairman of the National Commercial Bank Financial Group of Jamaica. Well, my most recent investment project is agriculture. Huge opportunity for farmers, Jamaica investors, but also investors, period. There are many things you have to do before you can say, yes, I really want to be a farmer/investor in Jamaica. You need to get through all the regulatory hurdles. JAMPRO, their business is to hold the investor's hand and say, come, let me take you. So why is Jamaica the perfect place to be invested right now? Jamaica has great location. You can make great margins. You're protected by legal framework. The macroeconomic situation is outstanding today. Interest rates are low. Liquidity is there. That is what will be the catalyst for foreign investors to be confident also. My name is Michael Lucien. I am the chairman of the National Commercial Bank Financial Group of Jamaica. Well, my most recent investment project is agriculture. Huge opportunity for farmers, Jamaica investors, but also investors, period. There are many things you have to do before you can say, yes, I really want to be a farmer/investor in Jamaica. You need to get through all the regulatory hurdles. JAMPRO, their business is to hold the investor's hand and say, come, let me take you. So why is Jamaica the perfect place to be invested right now? Jamaica has great location. You can make great margins. You're protected by legal framework. The macroeconomic situation is outstanding today. Interest rates are low. Liquidity is there. That is what will be the catalyst for foreign investors to be confident also.
Food flavor, full of vibes. From your taste of food, yes, you come. Walkers with flavor, full of vibes. Try Walkers with range of products today. Yeah, man. Walkers food.
With the doors open, ladies and gentlemen, standing outside, we're asking you all to re-enter the room, please. We are ready to begin. We have a wonderful panel discussion, and you do not want to miss it. We are resuming right now. Please take your coffee, your drinks, your juices, and the person you're speaking with back inside this room, please.
government agency mandated to create an enabling environment for investment in SEZs in Jamaica. We regulate, supervise, and provide policy direction on SEZs, attract investments, and facilitate business, all in an effort to grow.
Awesome. The room is filling up quite nicely. Also, I should announce that these chairs here at the front, they are open and available for your seating. And for the persons who are seated all the way to the back, we don't want you in the back, we want you in the front. We need to see your beautiful faces. We're asking you to come up, please. Come up. Come closer, come closer. We do have some persons who are coming up from the exhibition hall, so we're waiting on them to re-enter the room. So for the persons who are still on the outside, come on in. I see my moderator, my panelists are here. Yes? All right, awesome. We are going to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to resume officially. Welcome back. We're starting with our first panel discussion for the morning. This one, global reach, local impact, collaborations in the agricultural sector through strategic partnerships in key markets. And at this time, we invite our moderator to the stage, Consul General Oliver Mayer. Come on up, sir. Consul General with responsibility for the Western United States of America. Please put your hands together for him, please. In his Jamaican colors, they have a thing on social media that says, "How did you know I'm Jamaican?" I mean, full Jamaican colors. We're inviting to the stage as well Commissioner Alexandra P. Davis, elected official, Commissioner of the Broward County, Florida, USA. We're inviting to the stage Mr. Sean B. Garbutt, Director, Walkers with Jamaica. Walkers with the best sauces. Mr. Eric Montero, General Manager, JCB Caribbean, United Kingdom. And inviting Mr. Stephen Jones, ESL Environmental Solutions, USA. And we are going to begin. Over to you, Consul General.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching across the world, are you ready for our session? If you're enjoying the investment forum so far, can you make some noise, please? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this session is going to be about collaborations, building collaborations. And we have an esteemed panel here. I want to just start by saying a few words. You know, as Consul General, I've been Consul General now since 2018. Work with an amazing Jamaican diaspora who I'd like to ask to stand. Any members of our diaspora who are here, would ask you to stand and just be recognized at this time. Don't be shy. The persons standing here each have been involved in some type of agriculture or seeking to get involved. I just spoke to a gentleman who is about to start his seedling business. I have one of the ladies here is exporter of yam, and another person is about ready to move back to Jamaica to start agriculture. So we're chatting their business already. That's okay. So I won't call her name, but Renee, good to have you in the house. I'm happy to be a part of this particular forum, given that in my former life I was sales and marketing manager with Jamaica Broilers, and I think they have one of the better planning models that are available for the agricultural sector. I also had the good fortune of supplying the local hotels with produce, local produce, over 20 different agricultural items. Yeah? So I do bring some experience to this section. In fact, there was a cooperative that was set up just to act as our supply chain. And I see Mr. Anthony Grant in the house. He's the chair of that cooperative. So he's kind of shy, but where are you, Mr. Grant? One of the farmers from Clarendon, and who leads a 15-member farming group. So I don't see him, probably having coffee. And then the gentleman who financed me, Rajiv, is here. Not at the best rates, but it was very flexible. I kept us going, Rajiv, in factoring. So lots of money to be made in agriculture. And I want to thank each of you for being here, for taking the time to be here, spend the 2 days with us, and to learn about the different aspects of agriculture. At this time, I'm going to allow my panel now to get involved. And I'm going to start out with a lady who, in Florida, in South Florida, we have 27 elected officials of Jamaican descent. 27 Jamaicans who have risen up. They have campaigned and they have won elections and they've done very well. The lady I'm about to introduce to you, she started out as a commissioner in Miramar, did extremely well, and recently was elevated to a commissioner of Broward County. And that Broward County has more Jamaicans per county than any other county in the United States. She's done an amazing job. Commissioner Alexandra P. Davis. Give her a round of applause, please. Commissioner, I'm going to start with you. First of all, thank you for the work that you have been doing, serving the community. And I want you just to tell us a little bit about your role as commissioner. In 3 minutes, a little bit about your role and one achievement that you're proud of.
Thank you so much, Consul General Oliver Mayer. Excuse my voice, I've had some voice issues, but I didn't want to not be here today. On behalf of Broward County, our mayor, vice mayor, and the rest of the commission, and of course our over 2 million residents of Broward County, I extend warmest regards to everyone here and the organizers. Thank you so much. A little bit before I go in about my political career, but I am British born, but raised in Kingston. I went to micro practice in all-age school, also Wilmer's Girls High School, and the greatest university in the world, in my opinion, which is the University of the West Indies.
Well said.
I'd like to take a point of personal privilege just to introduce the third generation Jamaican, my son, Dr. Davis Raglan, who is here with me, and I tend to bring him wherever I can, so he learns about the culture of this great nation. I know the Minister Auburn Hill and Minister Green. When I did leave university, my first job was actually in the food storage division. At that time, it was under the Ministry of Commerce, and now it turned into the Ministry of Agriculture. But I learned a lot there. I was employed there as an entomologist. And so it's really fitting for me to be here on this panel today. I started off my career in politics in the city of Miramar. And the city of Miramar, many of you may have heard of it, but all of the elected officials in that city are Jamaican or Jamaican descent. It's the only one in the nation of the United States that has that combination. And so we're doing great things there. It is the home of the Usain Bolt statue that we made happen. At our Anson Sports Complex. And kudos to the Jamaicans for all they do. Somebody said, well, why would you put a Jamaican in the United States? What about people like, I know, some of the basketball players? The difference is they're not the greatest in the world. The world is not just the United States, right? And so we made sure we put the greatest in the world at our sports complex, at our track, which is used by a lot of the major champions, including the fastest man in the world right now is Oblique Seville. He has used our track. But being a Broward County Commissioner, as we are the center pretty much of trade for the Americas, the continent of the Americas. And so with our airport, which is the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, and our seaport, which is Port Everglades, we do a lot of import, export, and trade. And so being here today, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we can assist Jamaica and how Jamaica assists us. We have shared goals in trade. We have shared opportunities in sustainable agriculture. And so we want to make sure that we collaborate more together, and we can do that in Broward County. And we hope to hopefully see many of you as we have our Florida International Trade and Cultural Expo in October 22nd and 23rd. We will have over 70 countries coming to Broward County, including, I understand, the Senator, the Honorable Auburn Hill, will be there, and hopefully you guys can make it as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think Commissioner was being a little modest. She was central to that lovely statue of the greatest of all times, Usain Bolt. And at this time, I want to use the opportunity